So now we're at fence 9, the famous water jump, where all the spectators come to watch. And this year, because I've turned the course around, it makes it easier for me to ask a challenging question, because by the time horses get to fence 9, they're warmed up, they're switched on, they're fresh, and they're ready to answer a much more challenging question. And in the previous 5 years, this fence has come at the end of the course, so I've had to sort of tone down the questions a little bit. So I've had a lot of fun developing 2 completely new routes, and we've done a bit of groundwork and changed the shape of the fence altogether, shape of the water. So each horse has to jump 5 fences to get through this complex, but there's a quick way which is quite demanding towards the end of it, and there's a much longer route which doesn't ask such a demanding last effort, that being effort E. Altogether there are 10 fences around this area, so there's plenty for the spectators to look at. So at fence 1 of these 5, which is 9A, every horse has to jump it. There is no alternative to 9A, and it is a fairly friendly but up to maximum height brush, but they come off a tight left turn and the horses won't see it until the very last minute. For the quick route, riders have to be incredibly sharp to turn right immediately on landing to pick up the direct route. If they can't do that, or they don't want to do that, and they go the slow route, they have a perfectly good 4-stride distance to another big brush where they land on dry land but then immediately step into the water. From there, the quick route is a ditch, 3 very short strides to a friendly roll top with quite a big drop into some water, and then going continually straight they have a not very big step, and then the trouble starts because they have to turn sharp left to one of the narrowest, skinniest fences on the course, and it's also quite a big spread. It's a triple brush. And for those who can't face that tight turn and the possibility of a 20 penalties for a run out, having jumped the brush, the B element, into the water, they then have to trot through the middle of the ditch and get into the other side of the water complex, where they have a step up to a roll top and then a much more fluid ride to the last element, the skinny brush. So we're now a little further around the course, fence 12, another combination, just 2 parts and actually no alternatives. And here I've tried to test riders' skill in making the correct turn and picking up the correct line from one fence to another, the second fence being an open corner. So normally riders are used to turning around a tree or around some obstacle, which helps them to pick up their line. But I've just left them a huge open space after the first element so that they have to make their own turn. And by putting the 2 fences beside each other, it means, and quite close beside each other, it means the turn becomes quite tight if they want to save time. Riders are always looking at their clocks, and they always want to save a few seconds here and there, so the pressure on them to make a tight turn may be greater than the reasonable idea that they should actually take some time, make a bigger sweep, pick up their line and get the right one. The corner is not in itself a very big fence, but it looks quite open and not quite so inviting, and should they overshoot their turn, I'm sure there will be a 20 penalties. This is the 40th anniversary for Buccolo. They've never missed a year, and everybody loves to come to Buccolo, and we get more and more entries every year. 109 this year, at over 20 from Great Britain alone, and some of the very, very top riders in the world have come to Buccolo 2010. I have turned the course around after 5 years, so we're now going in the opposite direction, and that's given me a lot of new inspiration, and I hope that the riders feel that it's a fair course. At this stage they haven't ridden it, so we wait and see. It is this year 6,120 metres approximately, and the optimum time is 10 minutes 45 seconds. Buccolo is very flat, and therefore it's been quite difficult to produce a course where I can assume that we won't get 50% inside the time. Therefore I've had to put in quite a few turns and sort of circles and things in order to try and slow riders down. I don't enjoy doing it because in a way you don't get quite as good flow, but on a flat area like Buccolo, if I didn't do that, we would have too many horses inside the time and it would become a dressage competition. So that is why there are quite a lot of turning questions on the course. Having said that, I still think there are lots of places for them to gallop, open up and make up time. And really I feel that if I can get a 70% clear rounds, 15 inside the time, those are the sort of stats that we would like to expect, but anything can happen, and it's raining at the moment.